Fox. Hi, and welcome to this edition of MyMetroTV.com. Daybreak, first stop to the rest of the weekend. I'm Frederick Knight. Thanks for joining us. Coming up today, got a great show on tap for you. With April being Fair Housing Month, the Greater Columbia Community Relations Council held a Fair Housing Forum. We'll bring you sights and sounds from that event. Also on the way, the Olympics less than 100 days away. We'll take a look at where the athletes are going to call home at the Olympic Village. Plus, we'll bring you sights and sounds from the red carpet for the world premiere of The Avengers. All that and more coming up on today's edition of MyMetroTV.com. Daybreak, first stop to the rest of the weekend. In recognition of Fair Housing Month, the Greater Community Relations Council, along with Richland County, the City of Columbia, the South Carolina Human Affairs Commission, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and South Carolina NAREB, hosted Creating Equal Opportunity in Fair Housing, a forum on fair housing. I spoke with several of the organizers. Could you tell me a little bit about today's event?
Today's event is planned around the National Fair Housing Month, and we actually came together here at the TAPS Arts Center because the Community Relations Council does a poster contest with young people from various schools around the Columbia metropolitan area. Fair housing is an issue that's it has been in the forefront for several years. We felt like it was important today to bring acknowledgement to Fair Housing Month. We brought our partners here together because it's a dialogue that we all need to start having. Things are starting to change in the housing arena, and I think that some people feel like maybe there's still no need for us to acknowledge the fair housing and the need for fair housing. So we want to make sure that we came together today to discuss with our partners how we can go out to the community and make sure that we keep this issue in the forefront.
This event is important because as we commemorate Fair Housing Month since the inception of 1986, there are still issues that need to be addressed in reference to fair housing from the educational component.
Okay, what are some of the issues that you're hoping to bring to the forefront?
Some of the issues that we're trying to educate people on is discrimination in housing, discrimination in job, but our focus is more on fair housing because we are trying to educate school-age children about fair housing. Once we educate school-age children, then we can move forward with the parents and the teachers and the principal, and that way we educate the community.
The event featured various speakers.
Real estate brokers. I want to bring greetings and comments very briefly, but let me first congratulate the Community Relations Council, the City, the County, and the others for keeping this issue on the front burner and in the forefront. It is a continued issue that we have to deal with. I do want to take a very brief spin differently while the focus is on fair housing and those issues and challenges, and it is a civil rights issue. I'd also like to present the concept that it's also an economic issue. Certainly we are concerned when a family is denied the opportunity for fair housing. But the other part of that equation you have to realize too, though, is that means some agent lost a commission.
It's important for us to do education and outreach to let the public know what their rights are, and this includes housing providers and people who are seeking housing.
What issue do you run up against most as far as fair housing goes for South Carolina?
Well, there are 7 bases under which a person can file a complaint, and the 2 largest bases that we see are race discrimination and disability discrimination. We get a lot of complaints with people dealing with service animals. A lot of people confuse service animals with pets. There's a big difference, and race discrimination is still alive.
The biggest thing you're hoping is going to be the takeaway from an event like this today?
That people will know what their rights are, know where to go if they believe that they have been discriminated against. And for housing providers, if they need education, then we are here to provide that also.
And if someone feels they've been a victim of an unfair housing practice, how would they get in touch with your office?
They can call 1-800-521-0725 or 737-7800, or they can write us P.O. Box 4490, South Carolina Human Affairs Commission, Columbia, or they can stop by the office. We're at 2611 Forest Drive, and they have 180 days from the date of the alleged violation to contact us to file a complaint.
With the 2012 Olympics less than 100 days away, we get a look at where the athletes will call home throughout the Games, the Olympic Village.
I think the most important thing for us at London 2012 is that when the athletes from all over the world arrive here, that we give them the best possible facilities in order to produce the amazing performances we want to see from them. I mean, the success of our Games will depend on how good the sport is, so it makes sense for us to get things right for the athletes. And I think the most important place for us to get it right is here in the Olympic Village, and indeed the Paralympic Village. I mean, this is the place where an organising committee can most put its imprint, if you like, on athlete services. A track is a track, a swimming pool is a swimming pool, but there's a huge variety of things that you can get right or wrong in an Olympic Village. One of the most important things for us at 2012 is to make sure we test thoroughly. We're testing the venues, we're testing our teams to make sure that they're ready to put on the athletics, to put on the swimming, to put on the synchronised swimming and all the different sports that make up London 2012. It's the same for the Athletes Village. Everything is being tested, it's being retested to make sure that things are working. And then if something does go wrong at Games time, there's a whole team ready to make sure it's put right as quickly as possible. I think the standard of this village is amazing. And as we kind of look out here, I mean, it's a beautiful day. I think you just do get a sense of what it would be like with what, nearly 10,000 athletes from over 200 nations, 6,000 officials, national flags draping over the edges of the balconies. It's a compact village in comparison to some of the other villages, so there will be a feeling of togetherness, of camaraderie, of friendship, of kind of competition, but also mutual support. The fact that you're so close to all the main facilities in the Olympic Park again gives it that special atmosphere. And I say, being here on a day like today, you cast your mind forward to a few months' time, and I think this is going to be rocking.
We don't want anything to be in the way of an athlete absolutely performing at their best. So the way we think about it is that we've actually got 3 jobs to do. We've got to make sure that everything runs efficiently and brilliantly. And we've got to make sure that all the services, all the needs of our athletes and all the other residents are met as conveniently as possible. And we want it to be a brilliant experience just by being here. It's a fantastic place. It sits cheek to cheek with the Olympic Park, 7 minutes from London. But actually, at the end of the day, all that really counts for the athletes is that when they get out on the track or they're out to compete, that nothing has got in the way and distracted them from absolutely performing at 100%.